Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse Really Weird Cinema. And before I start, I mentioned the last show that I wound up in the ER last Monday. I just looked at the results and there's something there that bugged me and I had to call up. And basically, I got another fucking hernia, which is in a really bad fucking place. And I got to go see a surgeon next Monday. So this is a lot of bullshit that's going on besides the dog's not doing well and having to deal with my 96-year-old mother on the phone Sunday saying how much she wants to die and she doesn't want to be here anymore. I get it, but it's all starting to really wear on me, and trying to get any help, as we all know, is ridiculous because there is no help to be gotten because it's all been discontinued. So got to deal with that. So the reason I'm saying this is that if somehow I'm not on for any length of time, something fucking happened. And there's no way anybody's going to be able to tell you something fucking happened. So that's the story. Right, Blanca? As you come in here bugging me. So anyway, let's go back to some really, really weird fucked up cinema with 1967 or 69s, depending on when it was released, The Curious Dr. Hump. Of course, this is an import from Argentina, and it's probably one of the crown jewels in the Something Weird video crown. It's kind of fucked up, and I really suggest you smoke a lot of fucking weed or drink a lot of liquor before viewing it, because it opens up with strippers and people having softcore sex, and if you have a big screen TV, don't sit too close to it at this point, because some guy comes into view with really tight ass cheeks and you can pretty much see his butthole. So there's a simulated oral sex, there's simulated that, simulated this. All when this big monster shows up. This thing is expressionless, has a head like a wooden Indian with a fucking little blinking light in the middle of it. And this thing walks into a bar and nobody seems to notice him. But anyway, outside there's a hearse, which basically they're tossing these kidnapped victims in, which are all hot strippers and, performers and stuff like that. And one of them is Gloria Pratt, a known stripper, who plays Rachel. So anyway, the police are onto these disappearances. As a reporter wants to find out what's going on, everybody seems to get connected to this, seems to meet with an accident. Like, obviously they're buying aphrodisiacs because the whole Dr. Hump thing is, number one, he was a fucking student of this Italian scientist whose brain is in a little bubbling jar, looks like a bubbling fucking brain hamburger, who's always pissed off. And that's he's his disciple, and it being his disciple, he has this fucking wants to live forever deal, and he basically has these people screw, and when they're done, he extracts something from them, which leaves them either dead or returns them into Autobots. And when they're dead, he has this big goofy monster take them out and throw them in a fucking fire. So, be that as said, this reporter is really looking for answers, and they basically tell local pharmacists that if somebody comes in asking for a shitload of aphrodisiacs to call. Well, the one pharmacist calls, but he can't stall the monster off long enough and winds up dead. So the reporter stakes out another drugstore, and Dr. Hump himself arrives in his little Humpmobile and buys the drugs. And of course, the reporter follows him back to Castle Hump, where he's surrounded by the Humpettes, and he's promptly captured and paired with Rachel. And they make a good pair, and they're going to escape, but they can't because he's strapped down. There's a whole bunch of shit going on. In the interim, Dr. Hump has a faithful blonde assistant who's in those Something Weird clips, take my body so you can live forever, that type of shit. But anyway, she winds up in bed with the reporter, which pisses off Dr. Hump, who basically zaps her fucking brain and makes her one of those Autobots. So now this whole climactic thing is with the brain bubbling, the police coming in, shooting down the Autobots, and Dr. Hump trying to transfer all this shit on. Of course, it comes to a fucking really nasty end. So, I know this ran theatrically somewhere, probably 42nd Street way before I was there. Probably, I was probably like 15 years old when this thing came out, so it wouldn't have appealed to me at all. But, like I said, this is this weird, fucking psychedelic, twisted fucking little movie that you sit there and your jaw drops in disbelief. But, like I said, if anything else, there's ample nudity to make up for it, so that's a plus. And that, Rachel chick's pretty hot too. So I do believe this is out on a restored Blu-ray edition. I'm not sure who put it out. It might have been AFCA, whatever that, whatever the hell that company is, AFGA, American Film Genre Archives or something. definitely worth a look if you haven't seen it. But like I say, definitely packed the bomb full of goodies. So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try to keep you updated on what's going on. But right about now, it's kind of really fucking depressing to just have to deal with this one day at a time after another after another. So like I said, above all, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you on the flip side.